guys. So, hi. I've never seen Avatar: The Last Airbender until now. I never saw it as a child growing up. I don't know why. I have no explanation for why. I don't know. I don't have an explanation for you. I literally just don't know why I never watched it. For years, I would get teased about it. I was bullied by a couple of my friends and just bullied in general by a lot of people as I got older that I never saw it. And it was kind of frustrating because on one hand, I was like, well, because you're making fun of me for it, I don't want to see it now because I feel like I'm giving in to the bully stuff. And so it came on Netflix earlier in 2020 and I was like, you know what? It's time. I have Netflix. It's time. For winter in December, you were going to watch it because that was when I was going to have probably the most time. So I have now watched all 3 seasons of Avatar: The Last Airbender, and I can say with full certainty it is a fantastic, fabulous show that might be one of the best shows I've watched. I will say, plot-wise and just like storytelling wise, it is so fantastic. It's a really good show. I highly recommend you go watch it. This is I feel so bad for admitting this. You know about the Avatar: The Last Airbender live action movie they did. It's so bad. I saw it in theaters, and you want to know why I saw it in theaters? Why I saw the movie way before seeing the show? Because the guy who was playing Sokka, Jackson Rathborn, who was Jasper Cullen in Twilight, and I'm Twilight trash. And now after seeing the show, I'm like, no, it's trash. It's so bad. It belongs in a dumpster and it needs to be destroyed. But today, I'm going to talk about my thoughts and feels on the show. There's so much to talk about and there's so much that happens that I'm not even probably gonna get to like half of the stuff. So if I missed something, I apologize. Now I'm gonna go into spoilers, so if you are those select few people that have not seen Avatar, please leave now, because I do not want to spoil you. So, to start off with, I want to go through the characters, but we're going to start off with Aang. Aang has been frozen in ice for 100 years. Aang just goes on through such a character journey. He's only 12 years old, and he has the duty of being the Avatar and destroying the Fire Nation, the Fire Lord Ozai. Like, he's a 12-year-old who's to defeat like a 40-year-old man. That's a lot of responsibility for a 12-year-old. He's this 12-year-old kid that has just woken up from the ice. 100 years later, he learns that his entire people, the air nomads, have been wiped out. Aang wakes up and everyone he's ever known and cared about is dead. That's a lot of trauma for a 12-year-old to go through because he feels like he abandoned them. One of the air nomads thought his friends were a distraction and wanted to take Aang away, and Aang's like, no, I don't want to be the Avatar. I don't want to have all this responsibility. So much put on Aang, so much pressure. Goes through such a journey when learning the different elements. In season 1, he's trying to learn waterbending, and he's learning a little bit from Katara, but she goes through her own journey in the show, and she's not the best waterbender either. See how far she has come with waterbending is insane, to where in the beginning of the show, she couldn't really even bend that much of like a strain of water, to now she's taking down ships with huge waves and freezing people. And then there's blood bending. Just in her bending abilities alone has such a character arc, and that is so cool to see. But it's like Aang, when he's learning waterbending, since he's the Avatar, he's basically kind of already skilled at waterbending. He really is such a powerful Avatar, especially when he's defeating Ozai. He just is he has all 4 elements and he's just beating the crap out of Ozai, and I'm just like, oh my god, Aang, you're so powerful. I feel like fire and earth, but especially fire, were maybe 2 of the hardest ones for him to figure out. The thing I like is that every bending ability, whether it be water, earth, fire, and air, they each have a specific thing. Water is more community and change, the flow of things. Fire is more desire, the fuel of power. You want to succeed, you want everything to happen your way. Airbending is more of like letting go and peace through freedom. You have earthbending, which is more of like being assertive, diverse, enduring, taking a stand, not backing down. It goes kind of against airbending, because airbending, Aang was taught to not deal with conflict, to not have conflict. And so that's why he kind of struggles with earthbending. He doesn't want conflict. He wants peace, he wants to resolve it. But yet earthbending, there's some form of like enduring and standing your ground and taking conflict head on. Firebending was something Aang kind of swore off too, because he went and learned firebending from this really great teacher, Zhang Zhang. Zhang Zhang tells him and teaches him that fire can be dangerous if not handled properly. And the first time that Aang, a little bit of firebending, he plays with it and doesn't take it so seriously, and he's just goofing off, and it ends up burning Katara's hair. And that's where he decides, I've sworn off to fire. And it's not until season 3 when him and Zuko go to that temple and he learns that fire is dangerous and destructive, but it also can be beauty. It can also be life. I guess in a way, Aang burning Katara's hands also helped her to realize that she has healing magic. She puts her hands in the water and her hands are healed. And so she has like this property of being able to heal people. I still think that's pretty cool that she can heal people now with her water. Like, that is so cool. Then in the season 3 finale battle, when she's going up, helping Zuko go up against Azula, she freezes Azula and herself and then unfreezes just herself. And while Azula is still frozen, like ties her up with chains. If that not isn't cool, I don't know what is. I just love Katara in general. I like her wardrobe. I love that she's a strong female character that can like bend the shit out of things. When she blood bent, I felt so bad for her because it's like, she didn't want to, but like she had no choice. Don't make her do these things she doesn't want to do. Because the whole point of the Avatar is now that Aang's awake, he has to not only defeat the Fire Lord, but he has to do it before this comet. We learn that Roku, the previous Avatar, and Fire Lord Sozin were best friends as teenagers. Roku was chosen to be the next Avatar, and Sozin was chosen to be the Fire Lord. 12 years passed of Roku training to be the Avatar, and when they meet up again, Sozin wants to expand the Fire Nation. Roku is kind of a little suspicious of that. He's like, you don't need to do that. You shouldn't do that. But unfortunately, Sozin, craving power after coming to power, overtakes an Earth Kingdom. Roku basically tells him, you do that again, I'll kill you. And Roku's dead serious. 25 years pass. Roku is living on an island with his wife and his family. A volcano erupts. He's having a very hard time this volcano. Sozin shows up and helps him, and then when Roku gets like poisoned from like the air pollutants, Sozin leaves him behind to die because Roku would get in his way of expanding the Fire Nation. So that's a lot. And so after Roku died, Sozin took it upon himself to now be like, this is the next Avatar is going to be an air nomad. So he killed all the air nomads so there wouldn't be an Avatar, but he didn't count for Aang. Aang was frozen in the ice. Sozin used the comet to begin the war, to have all these raids happen. Kind of like where we start off is the Fire Nation is slowly trying to take every nation. Learn towards the end of season 3 that the comet's now coming back. They have to defeat the current Fire Lord because the current Fire Lord, Ozai, Zuko's father, decides to declare himself the supreme ruler of everything because they have finally conquered Ba Sing Se, which they haven't done in a long time. The Earth Kingdom of Ba Sing Se is the one Earth Kingdom that has managed to outfort them and stay uncaptured. And when they do finally capture it at the end of season 2, which I was so angry about, a small band of rebellions in Ba Sing Se, and Azula suggests, well, why don't we just like burn Ba Sing Se? And he's like, we're gonna go burn down Ba Sing Se and more Earth Kingdom, and I'm gonna declare as Azula new Fire Lord. Don't like that. Zuko's father is so messed up. Just the things that he does. I can't fathom. What he did to Zuko infuriates me. Zuko's character arc. I cannot with this boy, with this man. I love him. Little Zuko has been banished from the Fire Nation because he spoke out of turn in a war meeting. Zuko's first war meeting, a general was going to send a band of unexperienced Fire Nation soldiers to do a task. Zuko's like, you can't do that. And as punishment, his father decides that he has to do a fire battle. But not against this general or a random guy. No, against his own father. So Zuko has to fight his dad. Zuko's like, I don't want to do that. You're my dad. Begs for mercy. His father, being a little fucking douchebag, sees that as a weakness and is like, I'm gonna give you your scar and banish you, and the only way you can get your honor back is if you find the Avatar. Ozai, he's #1 worst dad ever. I'm glad Ozai can't be a firebender anymore. Zuko goes on his own real journey in this show. Because in season 1, he's slowly hunting the Avatar and he keeps getting so close. But because he's kind of exiled, there's this Commander Zhao who tries to like take all of Zuko's small achievements. And I didn't like Commander Zhao either. I was like, I didn't like him either. I'm so glad that he like died at the end of season 1. That's so bad to say. I didn't like him at all. On one hand, you get why Zuko's hunting the Avatar because he wants his honor back. He was just trying to protect these Fire Nation soldiers who were inexperienced. But on the other hand, you're like, Zuko, like, the Avatar's not a bad guy. He's trying to, like, bring balance back to the nation. So at the end of season 1, now Zuko and his uncle are now officially criminals of the Fire Nation, because in season 1, Zuko pretends to be this blue spirit and rescues Aang. And at the end of season 1, Commander Zhao realizes that Zuko is this blue spirit. Zuko's now not only banished and exiled, but he's a wanted criminal of the Fire Nation. We follow their travels throughout season 2. They become refugees and go to Ba Sing Se. So that happens. And season 2 is where we really kind of see Zuko go through his own kind of like struggle. He still wants his honor back, but his uncle is like, we've made a good life here in Ba Sing Se. You really need to find your own destiny. Do you want your honor back because you really want your honor back? Or is that the destiny that's being thrown at you? He kind of goes through this little mini metamorphosis within inside of his body, this internal struggle. And you think that when he wakes up that maybe he'll like figure out that his dad is a douche and that he needs to go with the Avatar. No. At the end of season 2, the whole thing happens with La Fei. When he has the option of like protecting the Avatar, he betrays his uncle and sides with Azula and helps her reclaim take Ba Sing Se. You were so close, Zuko! I was rooting for you. I thought like you were getting it. I thought you were getting it and then you didn't, but then you did get it, but it took you a little longer to get it. But like I get it. You're like, this is all you've ever known and now you're going against it. So like I get that you don't get it, but like it was just kind of frustrating. To go back, I backtrack a little bit. Aang needs to go back to the Air Temple to learn about the 7 chakras so that he can officially control the Avatar state. Because anytime previously he's been in the Avatar state, he hasn't been able to control it. He's about to unlock the 7th chakra and he hears her being in danger at Ba Sing Se because Azula, Mai, and Ty Lee previously, when Appa was missing, which were so sad episodes, God, it made me love Appa even more, take the Kyoshi warriors hostage. They show up in Ba Sing Se as the Kyoshi warriors because they know about Black Sun from the Earth King. I'm all over the place, I'm so sorry. In season 2, they go to this secret library. They find these scrolls about Black Sun, about this eclipse, where it is on the day of this eclipse is where the Fire Nation will be at their weakest, and so that's why they want to go to Ba Sing Se, is to tell the Earth King that they can form an invasion and have an invasion on the day of Black Sun. Azula captured the Kyoshi warriors and infiltrated the Earth Kingdom, and so now Mai, Ty Lee, and Azula all know about Black Sun. They find Katara and take her hostage with the Dai Li. So Aang doesn't unlock the 7th chakra. Basically meant that he could not go into the Avatar state. Like, Aang, I know you like Katara. I know you want to save her. Look at the big picture. You have to master all the chakras because you have to defeat Ozai. Like, and I'd love you to go save her, but you gotta think about the rest of the world, buddy. At the end, when they're all fighting, Azula knocks Aang out of his Avatar state with her lightning. I didn't know this at the time, but without Katara's healing water magic, Aang probably would have died? No. Because Iroh tried to conquer Ba Sing Se many years ago. He was so close to it, but they ended up having to retreat because Iroh learned that his son, his one and only son, was killed and came back home to have like a funeral and to mourn his son. He thinks of Zuko as like his son. He even tells Zuko like, I think of you as my son. And he went with Zuko when Zuko was banished, and yet Zuko went and turned his back on him. As much as I love Zuko so much in season 2 and everything he's worked towards, him betraying his uncle just put like a bad taste in my mouth. I was like, how can you do this to your uncle who's been there for you from day one? I don't. Not until Zuko really realizes that, something's not right here. Because he gets welcomed back home with open arms to his father because his father thinks that he killed the Avatar when really it was Azula. Is in that war meeting learning about what his father intends to do for the Earth Kingdom of Ba Sing Se. And when he reads that scroll, because at the same time Aang is learning about Roku and Sozin's relationship, Zuko is reading a script and he starts to learn about Ozai and Sozin, and he realizes that the only way to save everything and to end this war is to bring peace, is to have balance back again. He realizes that I need to not only bring honor and restore the Fire Nation back to what it used to be, but restore honor and peace and balance to the rest of the world. And so that's why in episode 10 of season 3, Zuko leaves, as he realizes that I need to join the Avatar. I need to bring peace, prosperity, and balance back to the world and to all nations. Plus, I'm pretty sure he knew his father was toxic. Zuko's character arc, like every other character has their own great amazing arc. Like Zuko has the biggest character arc because he does a whole 360. He hunts the Avatar, he wants to love the Fire Nation, and then he goes to, I'm gonna join the Avatar and like help him take down my father, go against everything I've ever known. I liked Zuko in season 1, I enjoyed him. Season 2, I started to really love him. I think it was season 3 where I really, okay, Zuko, you're like my favorite character now. Talking to an animal, being like, hi, Zuko here. Hi, Zuko here. He was so awkward and it was so adorable. Oh my god! When he was practicing on an animal, I think it was a frog, to practice introducing himself to the Avatar, he was so awkward about it and he's like, why am I so bad at being good? And I'm like, I love this Zuko. I love that scene where he's like, hi, Zuko here. 10 out of 10. I get why Katara is very skeptical and she's the only one really to not trust him. I think it's not until Zuko goes with her to confront her mother's. I think it's really when Katara goes with Zuko to face this guy that she realizes that killing him is not going to bring back my mother. It's not going to make me feel any better. I think she really needed to go on that journey to find him and then come face to face with him, able to, because she's just too compassionate. And I think she really needed to go on that journey and realize that she may not be able to forget or forgive this guy. Somewhere deep down, I think confronting him maybe brought that anger away. I think that's what she really needed to also forgive Zuko. I feel like Katara is the sister that Zuko never had, but he needed. I think they have a good brother-sister dynamic, especially when he asked Katara to go help him fight Azula, and she's like so willing to do it. I feel like it was just a great moment. Not to mention, Zuko going up against Azula was like a beautiful moment. The animation and just the whole sequence of like her fire against his fire, how unhinged she is. Oh, it's just such a cool sequence. And when he had to go to the temple to learn fire, Zuko needed to go back and learn the original source of fire. Now that he joined the Avatar, his fire starts to really like dwindle and he can't really bend at all. It's because of his rage and his anger. That's what was fueling his firebending, and now that he's not angrier and rageful towards the Avatar, he really needs to go and find the original source. And so he and Aang go to that temple with the Sun People. They really learn about the original source of fire, which was the dragon. Same way Toph was taught how to earthbend when she was younger was through the badger moles. Badger moles were the original source of earthbending. Just the mythology and the way everything like ties in, and every nation has their own unique way of bending, unique style of bending, their unique costume designs, the unique hair designs. And so Zuko has to really learn that devotion and his love and his like passion to fight, to take down his father and to bring back and restore the Fire Nation is what's now fueling him. Learning about life and love, the beauty of firebending. He and Aang both learn of that firebending is destructive, but it also can be life. Katara's brother Sokka. Now Sokka, initially my favorite character. We saw him in the beginning of season 1, episode 1. I was like, I am here for Sokka. I loved Sokka. Zuko is still my favorite character, but like Sokka is so close. He's just like an inch away. Sokka's character development is so well in the show. Oh, I love his character development as well. Their mother passed away and Sokka's father went off to fight in the war. Sokka wanted to go with him, but his father said, you need to be the man and stay back and stay in charge. Katara also had to step up as well. We learned from Sokka in season 2 when he's talking to Toph about Katara, when Katara and Toph fight. When their mother passed away, Katara really had to step up and take responsibility. And she's the one that has been there for Sokka since like their mother died. She's been looking out for him since. But he needed Katara just to help be there for him when he needed someone. When he needed a mother figure, Katara was there. Katara is really great at being a motherly figure and helping people out and just being there for people. I think even Toph realizes that when she's been on the road with the gang for so long, she misses her family. Tara's kind of like a mother to her, really helping her steer her from right from wrong. Everyone thinks of Sokka as like this goofy, pun-filled guy who like battle cries and likes to make up witty catchphrases. A lot of people underestimate Sokka. He has grown into not only a great warrior, but also a great character, a great leader, a great friend. Especially like when they find that secret library, they learn about Black Sun and the eclipse. It's really Sokka that makes the distinction and really starts to plan this evasion. It's the same thing when they're going to do the actual invasion. Their father gets hurt and Sokka takes charge and leads the charge. So he really has to step up a lot in this show, but for so many good ways. He makes the battle plans, takes charge, and he helps his friends out. He also learns the value of girls can be tough, badass warriors. Because when they go to Kyoshi Island and he meets Suki, he and Sokka, I love their relationship so much. It's my favorite ship of the entire show. When he meets the Kyoshi warriors, he really has this mental mentality of, hey, only men can be tough warriors, can only fight. And the Kyoshi warriors show him that women can be just as tough, just as badass, be just as powerful and great warriors as men. And Sokka really learns that. And so not only does he learn to be a great warrior himself and a great strategy battle planist, but he also learns that women can be badass warriors and take care of themselves. Sokka's been through a lot. And I think the reason why he was so protective of Suki after he kind of started to like her a little, because of Yue. Because he lost Princess Yue and she was killed and he was told to protect her and he feels like he failed in that. I just want to tell him, give him a hug and be like, you did all you could, Sokka. You did the best that you could. I love Sokka's hairdo, like little man bun. I love that. When his hair is down though, oh god, bro. His battle strategy and his plan he made up for the Black Sun invasion, that was amazing. Great, we support our boy Sokka. Not to mention, his boomerang skills have certainly improved to where he couldn't hit it properly, and he was having so many issues, to when that guy with the eye tattoo was coming after them and they're far away from him, Sokka throws his boomerang, hits the guy in the eye, and the guy blows himself up. Yay, Sokka! You have Toph. I really do like Toph as well. I think she does. It's more of like her bending abilities, because Toph is such an amazing bender. Oh my god! Toph comes from a very rich and well-off family. At a young age, she learned from the Badger moles how to really use her other senses and really make them better and grow them. Learn how to sense other think, and that's what Toph does because she's blind, so she can't see. So she senses the movement of people's feet and like the movements, the subtle movements in a person, waits, listens, and then strikes. It's so cool to watch her bend. But she's this tough girl who is in this like inner ground, like wrestling, fighting cage match thing. At the end of the day, she comes from a very wealthy family, so she has to keep up a certain image. Because she's blind, her parents think of her as this, oh, she needs to be protected 24/7. She's a helpless, innocent little girl. When Toph explains to her parents that she's been in part of this wrestling thing, she's a good earthbender, her parents, instead of most parents would be like, I hear what you're saying, I'll understand, I will be a little less protective. No, her parents completely blow it out of the proportion. They think the complete opposite and be like, oh, she needs more protection. Her parents want to put more protection on her, and she's like, I want freedom. I don't want this. So she goes off with Aang and his group. Her father sends 2 hitmen after her because he believes that the Avatar kidnapped his daughter. Parents, they just don't listen! Because Katara and Toph are kind of complete opposites. They really have a really sweet moment, the two of them. Katara and Toph have a spa day, a girls' day. They go and get their makeup done too, and it was so cute, and they both looked really pretty, but they're very pretty without makeup. The thing about Avatar is they're filler, they're not filler just to be filler. They're filler to give you those good character moments. Tales of Ba Sing Se, The Lost Days of Appa, filler episodes, but they're filler episodes that you didn't know you needed until you saw them, and now that you have them, you don't want to let them go. Especially Iroh's Ba Sing Se tale, where it's the day of his son's birthday and he goes to have a picnic, and that one just made me cry. I was like, Iroh, man. I'm getting teared up just thinking about it right now. Iroh is not a main character, but goddamn, he's a great character. But I think Toph as a bender is very powerful because she's such a skilled earthbender the way she uses her senses. But then she becomes the first metal bender ever. If that is not dope and cool, I don't know what the hell is. And then we have Uncle Iroh. I love Iroh. He is an amazing character. He is so compassionate, so like caring, so wise. No matter how many times Zuko would yell at him or get mad at him for taking a tea break, Iroh would still be there for Zuko because Iroh thinks of Zuko as like his son. The thing about Iroh is he may be Fire Nation, but he cares about balance. He cares about order. Not only that, but he's also a part of this secret organization called the White Lotus. When they come at the end of season 3 and they're going to take Ba Sing Se to take it away from the Fire Nation and give it back to the Earth King so that Ba Sing Se can be free. Seeing him burn the Fire Nation like banner thing they have hanging outside of the Earth Palace, it was so liberating and so freeing and such a powerful thing. Tales of Ba Sing Se are amazing little tales. I know it was a filler episode, but it was a filler episode that I ended up loving so freaking much. It's the day of his son's birthday and he goes and does a picnic at a tree for his son and he's crying. Wish he'd done more to help his son, to help motivate him and grow. Oh my god, Iroh, stop giving me all the feels. I cried a lot during that moment. I'm not gonna lie, I was a big baby. The fact that he finally got to open his own tea shop, that's just so sweet. But there's a lot of moments with Zuko and Iroh that make me tear up. I think the biggest one goes to confront his uncle and he's crying. I've dishonored you. I know you're angry with me, I betrayed you. And I'm crying at that point. And then Iroh just turns around and hugs him! My heart! That moment is one of those moments that was so fulfilling and it was done so well. And that build up to it made it worthwhile. This is probably going to be maybe not really controversial, but more of like, I don't know. Next character I'm gonna talk about is Azula. Here's the thing. I did not like Azula. I didn't like the way she manipulated everyone and tried to control them through fear. And I get why she did it. Their father messed them both up. Their father was just this manipulating, like, not physically, well, I shouldn't, with Zuko he was. He's very like both mentally and emotionally toxic. He put such a high standard of what he wants his kids to be in his head. Azula always wanted her father's affection. She was jealous of the way Zuko's mom loved him and not her, and then having to be perfect all the time. And I think having such a higher up figure as her father and the way he treated her really kind of messed with her mental state. At the same time, that doesn't excuse you for the things that you have done. The way you've treated Zuko, the way you treated May and Ty Lee. I will say, I understand why she's the way she is, to having a controlling, manipulative, emotionally and physically and mentally toxic father. That doesn't help. And she was very young, so all of this really like screwed her up. I understand she's a good character. I understand why she's the way she is. It doesn't excuse what she did. I don't want to like have people attack me for that. Okay, when she's fighting Zuko at the end, that was so cool. The way Zuko was able to match her skill level and just like the fire techniques they throw at each other and the action scenes and the animation was beautiful. And one of the things that kind of like bothered me a little bit, and I've heard a few other people talk about this, that she needs to have absolute control. No discourse, no distractions, calm, cool, and collected, use her lightning. But yet at the end, she's going very unhinged, very crazy, not calm, and yet she's still able to shoot lightning. To me, inconsistent with like the lore they said about lightning bending. It was still a cool like action sequence, fight sequence.